Hey, what's up guys? It's your pal Zuko and welcome to the Winter Wonfes 2023 video. Now I'm a little late on this one. I apologize for that, but I don't really want to make excuses. Life just kind of happens sometimes, but we're here now to talk about some figures. And I think the best part about all this is that since I'm late on this video, it means that I've forgotten a lot that was shown off at this event. So I might be surprised at some of the things we see today, hopefully making for a more interesting or fun video to watch. Either way though, thanks for sticking around and I hope you enjoy the video. Let's begin. Alright, so as always, I'm going to be using Moepop as the website of choice. It's very organized for these events, and they also have a Twitter if you want to follow them there, but I'll link this in the description down below in case you want to check it out for yourself. But we're going to start off with freeing today, actually, and I know what you're thinking. I just made a video talking a little down on freeing, but one, I don't hate that figure. It's right there. I still like it, okay? And two, I do like seeing what this company makes, even if I'm not necessarily buying all their stuff. I like keeping up because they make a lot of things and it's very relevant to the community, so don't worry about me being negative here. That's not what I'm going to be doing. So let's just jump into this. We're going to do this kind of free form here. Alright, so first up is an Azur Lane character, Chapive White Cavalier Respite version, and she's wearing some really nice negligee, I assume, a nightgown of sorts from the looks of it. I like her bunny slippers, very cute. She's eating donuts off of the rug, though, or the carpet. Why is she doing that? That's just disgusting. Like, she's either going to be making crumbs, or she's eating off of a dirty carpet. Now, in the anime world, I guess nothing's dirty, but she's just making a mess. So, I can't get down with this. Get a plate, and then I'll be down with this figure. It does look very good, though. I like her chest mole. Gotta be honest with you. But there's also another one, La Galissonière Black Cat of All Hallows Eve version. So a cat girl, not a bunny figure. She's got these really cute paw pads on her gloves, and she's doing this. Like I said last time, I like this, so I think this figure is cute. I like the fishnets on the legs only being up to the thighs, but she's also got fishnets on her arms, which is just a great look. And her hair is really nice, and she's also biting down on a strap or a leash, but she's a cat, so I don't understand why she would have a leash. Now, again, this is a laying down figure. No donut issue to worry about here. However, do you guys like laying down figures? Because I kind of don't. I feel like they just take up way too much space. Like, because you can't stack figures on top of each other. But if you have the right layout, then you do get to place a bunch of figures behind her and still get pretty optimal viewing for those, right? So it just really depends on your setup. But I don't know. Just food for thought, I suppose. Here we have the ruler figure from last time. I really like this figure, actually. I think she looks great. But then there was also the Koyonskaya of Light figure, which is really different for a freeing bunny that's not Azur Lane. She comes with this nice chair that she's sitting on. She's got this gigantic gun, of course. She's got a fox tail instead of a bunny tail. And yeah, her face looks interesting. I actually want to find another photo of this figure. So let me go do that really quickly. Alright, so the pictures on MFC aren't the best, but this one certainly does help get the point across that she's licking her lips, and her eyebrows are furrowed a bit, so I do like the expression, and honestly, it's a good vibe. I think this figure looks pretty dang cool. I think the only thing that I did notice on this picture, though, is I might not be the biggest fan of the color of her legs and the tights, but I think we need better photos to come out before I can really say whether or not I like that. Alright, next up is a couple of OC bunnies, Natsume and Aoi, from Monochrome Bunny. I feel like we've seen these two before, but I don't think we have. I'm pretty sure I'm thinking of a completely different set of bunny girls from another company. But I do like these two. They're very busty, which is a plus, and they're really not that unique in terms of their, bunny suits. I guess the ears are a little bit more like, I don't know, they look a little bit like squishy. Like, they're definitely thicker than most bunny girl figures from freeing. I like Natsume's face. I think her expression is perfect. Aoi looks good too, but I feel like I've seen this expression a bit more, so I'm not necessarily as in love with it. Hair shading looks nice on her though, same with Natsume. Just solid stuff, and their side boob is going to be ridiculous in person, I feel, so that's a charm point right there. Next up, we have the Uzui Tengen figure. Now, this is a different face from what we saw last time, and I'm pretty sure this went up for pre-order, and I think he was like 77,000 yen. Now, if you ask me, that's way too much for this piece, because, like, That's statue territory. 77,000 yen for a PVC scale is kind of ridiculous. If the effects were better, maybe. Like, maybe you could convince me. But not only is this like spiraling like wind effect kind of uninspired, but it's gotta be like one of the ugliest colors I've seen for a special effect piece. Maybe it looks better in the promotional photos, but here it's doing a really bad job at making me think this is worth buying. So, I don't know, man. Like 77,000 yen just kind of like kills this one, but you might think differently because I really don't think it looks bad. It's just way overpriced for what it is. Next up is more Azur Lane, this time actual bunny girls. We have Reno Benino as well as Boise. Now, I like the Azur Lane bunny figures. They're always trying at least to make them just have their own unique look, unique costumes, and I'm pretty sure that's because they're just pulling it from the game itself, so they already have these like art pieces designed for the figures to be based on, but it still makes them good looking figures. I just don't know how they ever turn out. Like Reno here comes with an adjustable stool. I doubt you can actually adjust it, but that's clearly what this little lever is supposed to be. And she took off her heels so you get to see her feet, which I don't recall the other figures having that kind of feature at all. So at the very least, a little different. She also comes with a wine glass, which I like. And then Boise just has like a bit more of an inspired outfit with the tie and the flaps, and I guess the leggings just cut off right here, which I like. She's holding on to her hair, I'm pretty sure, which is cute, which is why it's like kind of covering her face so she's a little shy, and I really like her hair braid. I think this figure looks really nice from a prototype, but I don't really know what its colors are going to be, so I do anticipate seeing how this one turns out. And I think that's it, actually. The last one is the Pecora figure, so I think we are done with freeing for today. Let's talk about Phat Company next. Land of the delays, you're never getting these figures, but first up is a Kato Megumi figure, which is actually pretty cute. Now, I don't know why it's like so zoomed in to the point that we can't see the entire figure, but most of it, you know, we kind of understand. She's in her pajamas, she's got a really light sweatshirt around her shoulders, which is cute. There's a bunch of pillows on the base itself. I'm going to imagine this figure comes with a fluffy base. In fact, let me just go find that really quickly. Yeah, I was right. She comes with a gigantic fluffy base. I don't even know if I like it though. It's so fluffy and it's kind of like an off-white, which is a little gross looking in my opinion. Could just be the lighting, of course. Maybe there's like additional photos I can look at. Unfortunately, not many, but you know, whatever, it's fine. It does do the job that it needs to do to protect the bottom of the figure, of course. And, you know, zoomed in, it certainly looks fine. I think her nightgown actually looks really great. There's a lot of like creasing on it and shading applied to it. Just a really pleasant figure. I don't know if anybody's really excited for this one, but I think she looks cute. But besides that, next up we have Noelle. I feel like this has been painted. I don't know if this is actually an update, so I'll keep it brief. The way they painted the armor looks sublime. I really like the metallic finish that these armor pieces have. And honestly, the shading on her skirt and I guess the rest of the outfit itself, but mainly the skirt, I can see it, just looks really good as well. Mace looks sick. I still feel like her face looks slightly off to me, just like really slightly, but it might just because she's 3D instead of being like a flat 2D image, so maybe I'm just wrong on that. But overall, very nice. I do like this one too. Riza and Claudia Chinese dress versions. These two look great. I love the bun hair. I'm pretty sure Claudia is supposed to have bun hair. It might be a singular bun in the back that we can't see right now. So I'll look around for photos after the fact, like in post, so you guys can see it. But it doesn't really matter that much for me right now because I still really like these two figures. I do feel like the colors are a little bit darker on the dresses than I would have liked. They do go really well with the gold though, like the gold trim matches with the dark blue and the off-white pretty well, so I won't complain about it, just not like my favorite shades of blue and white here. The stomach looks amazing on Riza. The way it's just like completely sucking into her skin is just crazy. And her face is really cute. Claudia looks great too, but you know, like a lot of people, I ain't played this game yet. I have them, I bought them, but I haven't played them yet. If this wasn't being made by Phat Company, might be on board, but it's another one of those like wait and see figures for me because this will get delayed till 2025, I'm sure, but I really like them so far. Let's see, next up is the IWS 2000. This was at the last event. I remember it, it was painted, so we don't need to talk about it. The M4A1 MOD3 wasn't painted though, and I like this one. She looks very pretty. Normally I wouldn't like this color scheme. It's very grounded, which is not what I'm really looking for, but I think because she's got all these like guns and ammo and equipment on her, and she's supposed to be like some army/military girl or of some kind, I think it works really well. And I don't know, she just looks really nice. There's something about her face, like the art style of this figure looks really good. And just like Noelle, I really like the finishes on the arms and the boots. I think those two aspects of this figure look really nice. I kind of wish that was applied to the gun. The gun looks a little flat. It's got this like matte finish to it, making it look too plasticky to me. Some like gunmetal would look pretty sick, but maybe they don't think it would be the right fit for this specific gun, so I might be wrong on that. But it's certainly something that stands out to me, because otherwise I kind of like everything about this figure. Also how sharp her hair looks right here. I think that looks sick. I think there's another Girls Frontline figure though. The AK-12 was also painted. I don't really like this one as much, but I think it's just because of her face, which is kind of a hard expression to really get across to make her look as pretty as the artwork probably does, if that makes sense. Like, my guess is that they're trying to make her look serene, like tranquil and calm and peaceful and whatnot, but I'm just not really convinced at the expression on this figure, even though I get what they're going for. It doesn't look bad by any means, and like the other figure, the more realistic color palette does look pretty good on her with her silver hair. And I do like how her hair kind of just like spirals very slightly at the tips. I just think that looks kind of nice and a bit of a standout feature of her hair, of course. But yeah, it's not bad, just not really for me. Demon Slayer is getting these two figures of Makomo and Sabito. And I'm convinced that these are like just barely above a prize figure in terms of quality. I'm really not impressed by either of these two. I actually think Makomo looks a little bit better, and that's probably because Sabito's mask just looks really basic and flat. In fact, the only thing of this figure that feels noteworthy is the way that his like feet are messing with the dirt on the base. That's like the only thing that I'm taking attention to, because I'm just not really impressed at this sculpt at all. If these are cheap, it's fine, but Phat Company is a bit high, so I would expect these to cost like, I don't know, 18 to 24,000 or something like that, and I would not want to pay those prices for these. Melusine, this figure is ridiculous. Her wingspan is enormous, and her swords are gigantic. This is certainly going to leave an impression on somebody if they walked into your room and you had it on a shelf. She's got some weird toes though. I'm not sure if she's supposed to be a dragon or some kind of demon monster of some sort, but yeah, that's strange to me. I kind of wish she had normal feet, but that's probably going against the character design, so I don't know shit. She looks cool though. I do like her. Her face is cute. Seems like she's barely wearing anything actually, and this is sinking into her belly button like every figure apparently does. Every piece of clothing on a figure is vacuum sealed to the stomach. And I guess that's nice for the sculpt, but it's a little unrealistic, I suppose. Seems like her body is going to be extremely like, I don't know, thin to the point where you can see her rib cage and like just like the bones in her body. She seems really frail. Cool though, definitely cool. Probably gonna be like 35,000 yen or something crazy. But yeah, this like oddly looks like a PNG. Like I'm looking at a picture of a picture, if that makes sense. Like this doesn't look 3D to me. You know what I'm saying? Like these wings look fake in this image, but whatever, it gets the point across. Hey, it's another Tori Domino figure. This time it's King-chan. Not the thickest design I've seen from the artist, but I still like it, and it's still rather curvy, so there's nothing wrong with that. Look how gigantically poofy these sleeves are, though. These are going to look great when painted, and I really like this scepter. It's a good design. She's also got one of those tiny crowns that are just magically floating on her head. Very cute. It's always cute. I don't know why. Tiny thing cute. I think that's the logic, right? Belly button also sucking in on this piece of clothing here. I don't know why I keep pointing that out, but I'll stop unless it's really ridiculous moving forward. Look, if you ask me, this guy can do no wrong. I kind of like all of his designs. He's like the modern day Tony. He just keeps making these figures that kind of look the same, but end up just being really popular anyway. And I'm pretty sure this is just an OC that's not really from a source like Ryza, so maybe it won't do as well, but I bet it'll look really nice when it's painted. I'm very curious on like the coloring of her hair, because I'm not sure exactly how this figure will look, and I really need to know that to start getting the gears in motion to see if I would like this more or less, I guess. And then I think the rest of the announcements are just art cards to show you what's coming up next. Here we have Florence from Girls Frontline. Really like her messy ass hair. I guess she's just a mess in general. I thought she was damaged like some other Girls Frontline figures, but no, her like costume's just kind of coming off a little bit, and she's riding on some sort of futuristic table thing. I don't know what's going on, but I like her crazy looking face. I really like how she looks. So I do want to see how this one turns out. This one will probably be pretty cute. I like how the gun is in like a plastic bag. I don't know why, I just find that funny. I guess so it doesn't get damaged. The first of many Bridget figures at this event. There's nothing to talk about here, but we will see some prototypes pretty soon from other companies. Clementine from Overlord is getting a figure. That's a cool pick. I don't think she has other figures, so that's nice. And I think this might be the last figure from Phat Company. We have a scale figure of Doctor from Neko, and I think she looks pretty cool. There's a lot of white on this figure. The abundance of white is going to be pretty interesting to see how they pull it off, with the occasional splash of yellow, red, and blue, kind of just like the Dr. Mario colors of the viruses, so she's the Dr. Mario girl now. But yeah, I think that is it, so let's move forward. A lot of companies on this page, but first up is Miyuki. Now, we already saw this Shikimori figure last time at One Hobby, so no need to talk about that. But I don't know why this wasn't here. An announcement for Nagato Yuki from Haruhi. Now, I don't like this silhouette. I'm not exactly even sure what I'm looking at, but I do like the Shinobu figure from Miyuki that is currently up for pre-order right now in the same Made line. So this might look great. I don't know. I don't like the silhouette though. It's very strange looking to me. Kind of looks like it's going to be like a cat girl of sorts, but we're just gonna have to wait and see, because I really can't tell. Solar Rain had this figure, BB Chill bunny version, who I actually like quite a bit. Her face is really enamoring. I think she's very pretty, very attractive. Her bunny ears are translucent, which is interesting. Can't say I see that too often. And she's got this gigantic ribbon behind her, which is pretty neat. The stockings are painted on, so they're not real fishnets. However, the band is not, so that's interesting. This is a piece of plastic. And then there's a little heart right by the crotch, so you know what to love. I think she's just holding on to some water or something. I'm not exactly sure, but whatever it is, it works, and I like it. It's a nice one. Shibuya Kanon Dream of Roses version from Love Live Superstars. Now, I think they're making 5 of these figures, or at the very least, multiple from the series, right? But she's the first one to get a figure. It looks pretty good so far. I like the colors quite a bit. The orange and the white, and like the little bits of gold just from like the ribbons and whatnot, and the buttons, looks great. I did not expect them to use like a fuzzy, fluffy material for the shoal, or whatever this piece of fabric is supposed to be. I don't think it looks bad though. I think it does actually work, but you know, I would rather it be plastic because it feels like I'm paying for something of higher quality if it's sculpted rather than just being some kind of material that I slap onto the figure. However, I think it looks good. I think this is a good starting point so far, and I hope it's not too expensive. Fang Bao Bao Dancer Class. Now, I'm not familiar with this character, and I'm not really sold on the character design. I think it's a little boring, if you ask me, but I really like the water effect on this figure. Like, not only the sculpt of it, the path that it's taking just looks really cool, but the colors and the plastic used looks excellent. This crystal clear blue is just really pleasing to me. I don't know what it is, but I really like it. And there's also this kind of cool orb that the character is summoning as well that we don't get to see fully, so not exactly sure how that's going to turn out, but it's cool nonetheless. So there are some things about this I like, and some things I don't, but, you know, I don't know the character, so maybe I would like this more if I did. They're making a couple of Idolmaster girls. We had Higuchi Madoka, the Midnight Monster version, as well as Fukumaru Koito, the Midnight version as well. Cute designs, but don't really have that much else to say about them, honestly. Oh shit, we already got a Cherno prototype. That was pretty fast. Now, I'm kind of conflicted on this figure because one, I don't really like the face so far. It doesn't really remind me of Cherno at all right now. And two, I just don't get why they sexualize this figure at all. Like, I just don't feel like Cherno is like the place to do that, but that's just me. Otherwise, I think this is a nice sculpt so far. Her crystal wings look really nice, and the ice shards floating around her are pretty well done. Like, they're convincing in the sculpt, as well as the way they're floating around her. So that's excellent. I'm sure the paint is going to be good on this figure. Solar Rain seems like they're pretty good at painting from what we've seen so far. And the base is amazing. This is a really great idea for a Cherno figure. And I have no doubt this base is going to kind of make me want to buy this because it's just such a good idea. But I don't know. I don't really like Cherno's actual sculpt so far, so I'm just not sure. I can't tell you yet. But it's got good and bad, so we'll see. Luminous Box was on this page, and we talked about most of these figures last time actually, with the exception of the Yokoyama Ishimi Black Bunny version. I'm pretty sure this one was not in the gallery last time. So, a new announcement for you. However, there's one more thing we got to talk about, the Shion figure. Now, last time I said this figure was a girl, however, it's a guy. Didn't know that. Didn't see the bulge last time. If you can call this a bulge, I think it's a little hard to see, but apparently this is a guy, so I had to correct myself. I apologize. Got a couple comments on that, so thanks for pointing that out, and I hope you're looking forward to this figure. If you liked it last time, or hey, maybe you like it more now because it's a guy. Up to you. S-Fire is a pretty interesting company in my opinion, and they had a couple of figures at this event. The first one is the Miku Panda Manju version, and I don't like it so far, which is a shame because I really like this art piece. I think she looks extremely cute here. But unless it's just the fact that there's no paint, there's something like really missing on this figure. For one though, I really don't like her eyes and her mouth. I just feel like her face is no longer as cute as I originally thought. I think they can fix that, but right now, not really loving it. But I think the major thing about this figure is the fact that there's no longer bamboo. Now that might come at a later date, but I feel like that really completed the figure. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like it's really important to this overall piece, and it's just not there anymore, so I don't know, man. Obviously, it'll cost a lot of money, but I feel like it's required to make this one stand out. You do get the panda. He's kind of strapped to a piece of acrylic. I would really hate it if that's how he's displayed, instead of having like his own little stand. That would look terrible. Please don't do that. And the dumplings so far, I think they have the panda ears, but you can't really tell at the moment, so there's just not enough information on this figure, but so far, not a fan, unfortunately. These were shown off previously, but just in case you didn't see it, the Amelia and the Ram with the childhood versions were shown off. I feel like I like these more than other people. I think it's a great idea. I really like this Amelia figure. It is very cute, but I don't think a lot of people like the Rem. So maybe these aren't gonna do that well, and maybe I'm just a little weird for liking it, but I don't know. I think they also had some Chainsaw Man figures we saw previously. This Denji is alright. I feel like something is missing on this Denji. It's gotta be the blood or something. He feels thin as well. I don't know what it is, but he just looks off to me. However, the power is like perfect. Maybe you can make a tweak to her face, but the base is like the best base we've seen for a power figure yet. And you get Meowie, and she still looks really good. This is the figure I want so far outside of the Amakuni one. But we're just waiting on like information because it's been painted for a couple months now. No price, no scale, we don't know jack. So we're really just waiting here. But I love this one. This one looks excellent. Itatori Yuji is getting an S-Fire figure. Not sure if this is the first time we've seen the prototype. It looks okay. There's a lot of figures from this series so far that are very dynamic and interesting. If the effect parts look cool, I'm down. If they're like those cool red and black lightning effects they sometimes use, I think this could look really neat, but don't know. Really don't know, but S-Fire does have some pretty good special effect pieces every now and then, so I hope this looks good. I should not have said anything about their effect pieces because I hate the way they look on this figure, the figure of Deku and Eri. Now, I don't know what went wrong, but I really hate how cheap the electricity looks on this figure. And that's not even the worst part. honestly, I think like the vein power-up thingy that happens to Deku when he's going stronger just looks horrible on this figure. Like, it looks like someone just drew it on top of his skin. It's really not convincing of like a power-up. Like, he's gaining all of this strength and it's kind of coursing through his veins. Like, I think it looks really cheap so far. Eri's kind of cute. I like the sculpt of her hair. I think the base looks neat. But this is probably my least favorite S-Fire figure so far. Like, I enjoy the Deku figure that they first put out more than this one. And this one's clearly more interesting, but I just don't feel like the paint is really coming along very well on this piece. All Might, on the other hand, looks excellent. It feels like they really cared about this figure in comparison. He is so detailed. He is so heavily shaded. Like, the effects look a lot better. They use the transparency on the electricity. The shading on, like, the wind effects swirling around him looks really sick. Crazy amounts of muscle definition on this guy. Just, like, really well painted. Love his face, too. Very powerful feeling. This one's cool. I am so happy that they are continuing to improve this Sonic and Shadow figure, because this is a top 3 must-get for me. I am buying this no matter what. I love this piece, and they made it even better. Now, if you haven't been paying attention, I'll point out a couple of changes. I'm sure there's more, but the notable ones are as followed. 1, Shadow's actually got a mouth this time. Last time, it really didn't seem like he had one. Maybe it was hard to see, but now it's very clear that he's frowning, and he looks perfect. 2, they changed the rings. Last time they were like a yellow McDonald's color. Now they're proper gold, and it looks excellent. They didn't change Sonic that much. I think they toned down the seam line on his spikes a little bit, but a little hard to see. Might not turn out exactly like this prototype, but it certainly looks better in this photo than it did last time. They also desaturated the figure a little bit, which is fine. I'm not going to argue with Sega on how Sonic should be painted. If you didn't know, S-Fire is Sega. And the last thing I noticed is they changed the color of the orange swirl. Last time it used to be yellow, like a very just like flat yellow. Now they mixed in a bunch of orange and it looks really cool. So yeah, this figure is super sick to me. I love it. Nostalgia is a powerful thing. I hope it's not that expensive, and I think it's going up for pre-order in summer. So we gotta wait a bit, but you know, whatever. 2024, if it comes out, I'm cool with that. Hopefully not over 30,000 yen. I feel like I'm looking at a 25,000 yen figure right now, but I don't know. I have no idea. It's hard to say how expensive a Sonic and Shadow figure should be, considering how simplistic their designs are. Like, they're not wearing clothes besides the shoes. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see soon. Okay, let's do Wing next. First up, seems like we have a couple of False Landers figures. The first one is Lance, who looks sick. All these characters really do, but I'm pretty sure this is like the same character or a very similar character to the Samurai. Obviously, the outfit and the weapon is different. However, the character, the pink hair, and the face look kind of the same, so this Lance is a little less exciting to me compared to the other characters. It doesn't take away that like the suit and the metallic plating and the straps, all this stuff looks super awesome, but, you know, if you're already buying that figure, you might not necessarily love this one. I do like the helmet / visor, though. I think it looks pretty cool on her. And the fact that you can't see her mouth is kind of, like, cute in a badass way. I don't know how to describe it. But yeah, I mean, I like all of these figures, but since I didn't buy Hamet, I probably wouldn't buy Lance, because Hamet is like my favorite one, and I never pre-ordered that. So, you know, might be up your alley for sure if you like really badass looking characters. But unfortunately, the one thing that does hold this series back is the lack of like movement, fluidity, motion at all. They're just kind of standing there. So they're a little boring, which is a shame. They really should have done a little bit more with these sculpts, but the concepts are really sick. So they're doing good with what they were given. Oh, my bad. I thought this was a False Lander girl. It's actually an A to Z girl up next, this time A. Since this isn't being made by Mythos, it's probably going to cost a lot of money. But I do like how involved this one looks because she's kind of riding the weapon that she's wielding, which I think is like a giant spear, maybe? It doesn't really matter what it is, though, for the sake of this discussion. Looks sick. Looks very futuristic, which is kind of like the pull for some of these weapons, right? Just like the designs of all of these things is really interesting. I like the fact that the jacket is kind of like flowing off of her. The one thing I don't like about this figure is the colors a little bit. The hair looks fine, the jacket and the weapon looks fine. I feel like something was lost in translation to her skin complexion. I don't really like how lightened up she is, I guess, is the best way to put it. And her eyes don't really shine the way they do in the artwork. They're a little bit dull. I don't like her face in this one image, granted. It might look better in other places, but I do think this art piece looks 10 times better in terms of the colors than the figure does, which is a shame, but it's not like this is bad. I think they can fix it, and I think depending on like how you're going into this figure, you might care more or less about that. It's always interesting if you just get into a figure without looking into the source material, because that could really change your opinion if you're really worried about like being faithful. You know what I'm saying? I also like the way they sculpted her fingers and her toes. There's just something about like paying attention to that much detail to really match up with the artwork that I just like quite a bit. So thumbs up for the most part, but could use a change here or there. Holy shit, this Ilya figure from Princess Connect Redive. This one's been shown off a lot, but it's finally painted. And the red and the silver looks so good. This is a nice looking figure. I don't want to know how much this costs. This metallic red in the background for like her axe, I guess, just being a different shade from like the, I don't know, more matte finish of her dress, I suppose, looks really awesome. I love this color. Honestly, like the more I look at it, the more impressive this sculpt becomes. I think this like baby bonnet thing is kind of funny, but it also looks nice as a sculpt. She seems to have some like curls for her hair, which is pretty lovely. I like that quite a lot. Yeah, sick character design. I think this one is a real standout piece. Like, how do you make belts look cool? I don't know what it is. Normally it's a meme that too many belts look stupid and overplayed and kind of cringy, but on this figure it looks awesome. So, I don't know, man. There's a lot of things about this figure. The more I look at it, the more I like it. Grim Aloe Belly Dance. I don't even really need to talk about this one. You know I'm gonna get it. It's a Bomber Girl figure and it looks excellent. In fact, I'm not even sure if this is an update. I feel like I've seen the prototype before, but it might be your first time seeing it, so here you go. Now, one thing that might be new is the inclusion of the veil over her face. Now, I'm not gonna use that because you need the tongue and the fangs and the expression. While I do appreciate this and it looks nice, never gonna use it. So I don't care, but the rest of the figure looks really good. Her, definition in the stomach looks insane. And honestly, she looks bigger, bustier than I would expect Grim Aloe to look on this figure, but I ain't gonna complain. I'm sure she's just pushing those things up to be more seductive and whatnot. So yeah, I guess this will be like the first figure I have with the stripper pole. So that's interesting. I hope it costs, like, I don't know. I don't even, whatever. It's gonna cost like 26,000 yen or something. And I'll be like, all right, you got me, I'll buy it. If it doesn't have a discount though, which it probably won't, I'll be sad. CA Works painted their Chizuru scale, the party dress version. Her face looks pretty good. Not the best face for a Chizuru scale, but pretty good nonetheless. I like the way the dress has a gradient to like a white. I'm not sure if that's like clear plastic or if it's a true gradient with paint, but whatever the case, I do like the execution. And the pantyhose look nice, so really not a bad showing on this figure. I love this Misaka frog figure. Like, I'm not gonna get this because I don't watch the show, but as a concept, this is the cutest shit ever. The frog hoodie looks excellent. The frog plushie is adorable. She's got frog socks and the frog base, and I love that it's all the exact same design. There's just something about this, man, that is just so perfect. Frogs are really cute. I love frogs, so I guess I'm a sucker for it. But there is something about her skin that looks a little too pale on this piece, but it might just be the lighting, so I'll wait and see. Sakurajima Mai Bunny Hood version, very cute, not as interesting or as cute as the frog figure for Misaka. However, it's nice, I like it, nothing to complain about, and so far her face looks pretty good, which is sometimes a problem with these Sakurajima Mai figures, so at the very least, looking faithful so far. I gotta stop getting monkey pawed by these companies. There are two Yami figures that I would like, one or the other. I don't need both. I either want them to finish the lingerie series and give Yami her lingerie figure, or I want her in her normal outfit made by a good company. That's it. That's all I want. Nothing crazy. I don't think I'm asking for that much. I don't believe CA Works will make a nice wedding dress figure for Yami. I feel like this won't live up, but of course I'm going to be a little interested in this just because it's Yami, and hey, if it does turn out good, might pick it up. I just have no faith in this. I'm sorry. Please just make the lingerie figure already, or give me an updated version of her normal outfit, because I feel like we've been waiting a very long time for either of those things. Mimayoi is up next, and the first figure they have to show off is the Kashino Hot Springs Relaxation version. Now, I do believe that the little chick birdie that's always with these figures is being suffocated under the weight of this cowgirl. Not the worst way to go, honestly might be one of the best, but rest in peace to the little guy. I wish I were you. Now, unfortunately, there's really not much I could say about these like milky white prototypes. They're really early in production, so it's more just the fact that like, hey, we're working on this, so I'm gonna say, hey, thanks for showing me, and move on. I do remember this one actually, the Katsuragi Night Illuminating Festival version. Now, this is a 1/4 scale, and it looks pretty massive. Now, I do believe they should really add an extra support to this figure. I think they're smart enough to do so, but there's a lot going on the top of this figure, and it's only supported by one leg. So, I mean, if you want this, do expect some kind of support rod to help her with her stability. But so far, so good. You know, doesn't have a face, which is a little scary looking, but everything else seems to be shaping up really nicely. Same with this one, there's no face on the Kirishima Summary Audacity version. Now her body looks amazing. There's even a heart-shaped cutout on the crop top, which is pretty hot. Kind of, easy insertion, I suppose. I don't know, that's kind of gross, I shouldn't have said that. But whatever, very nice looking figure in terms of like the definition of her body and whatnot, and the very skimpy outfit. I need to see the faces on these figures though. I feel like you're really losing a lot without them. So Mimayoi has some weird prototypes. Javelin wedding version, another milky prototype, so there's like no definition here, but the sculpt looks nice so far. There's also the Emmy with another prototype just like it. Really have no idea what you guys would want me to talk about with these. I hope it's okay that I'm kind of just like going past these very quickly. Aquila had a figure announced, but we saw this last time. I think she looks very pretty. I wonder how much of this like image is going to be included in a figure, because there's a lot of like setting to this one. There was also a Surkoff figure from Azur Lane. I wonder how much they'll commit to this butt grab that she's doing, because this is clearly the most important part of the figure, as attractive as she is everywhere else. But I think if they don't go hard on making sure that the squish and the indents in the skin are like molded perfectly, gonna leave a couple people, myself included, a little disappointed. Ajitani Hifumi in a swimsuit, a very cute character design. I like her a lot. She is adorable. Baltimore is getting another figure in this Finish Line flag bearer outfit. We just got this one in the background, I think from Mimayoi as well, up for pre-order around like 20 to 22,000 yen. Insane value for what you're getting with that figure, but this is a 1/4 scale, so you're probably not going to get the tires, and you might get the flag. I would assume you would, but that's going to take up a lot of space if she does come with it. Great, like, outfit, though. I don't feel like this will live up to the hype of this figure in the background, but it is a 1/4 scale, so it's a different thing altogether, so it's fine. Need is putting out a really impressive looking figure, Yatsen wedding version from Azur Lane. You're getting like the whole room with this figure. There's like a bench or a sofa of sorts, a little hard to tell exactly. I thought it was a bed because of the back piece right here, but I'm not exactly sure what I'm looking at, honestly. Some lanterns, the flowers, there's like flowers or an ornament in her hair. Again, a little hard to see the details on this one because there's so much going on. You can clearly see the bird though, so that's fun. Her dress is definitely the most ambitious part though. You could see right here where the dress is really hugging onto her legs, which looks excellent. And then the dress is parting off in so many ways, and it just is crinkled in like the best way possible. There's an extra frilly layer underneath. This is probably gonna look really fucking good when it's done. Just wish I knew what this character looked like. Maybe I'll look her up really quick. Oh shit, it's a red dress. All right. I know I'm gonna like this one. This is already looking really pretty. Okay, you got me. This is probably gonna be expensive as hell, but Ooh, I like these colors. I like these colors a lot. Can't even see the bottom of this art piece, unfortunately, but like, goddamn, this is gonna be very pretty when it's done. Neon Max was a company I was a little harsh on a month or two back, but this figure, Kosaka Wakamo, looks sick. The kitsune mask, the bayonet, the kimono, the foxtail, all of this looks awesome. I really like this design. And even though I don't know squat about Blue Archive, I'm willing to learn if the painted prototype lives up to the unpainted prototype, because I really like this. But besides this, I think we only really got like announcements. We had a figure for Dido, the Anxious Biscuit doll version. Looks pretty nice. Actually, a lot going on. The hands are a little weird to me, though. I don't know if I would want that in the final product, but probably going to be there because it's part of the artwork. We got a Ting Yong figure from Azur Lane. I don't think I've ever seen this character before, but to be fair, I've never seen this one either, so I guess there's just a ton of characters in this series. St. Louis is getting a Spirit in the Snow version, and there's also a Glorious Pungent Plum version. I don't like pungent, that's a horrible word. Alright, so Wave is up next, and truthfully, I don't have that much to say about these figures. I'm trying to re-record this because I didn't like how it went the first time, but I just don't really find these figures that interesting, but I don't want to skip them, so I'm just going to show them off, and I guess you can yell at me if you would rather me really try to pick apart these figures, but I think they're pretty standard. I think they kind of speak for themselves, like the Chio figure from the Idolmaster, as well as Kurosaki, both from the Cinderella Girls. They look fine, but if they're overpriced, I feel like they wouldn't be worth it because I don't think they're that impressive. They're making some Girls and Panzers figures actually though, which is kind of cool because they don't really make figures for this series at all, if I recall, or at least not for a very long time. So we have a Chio Shimada as well as a Shiho Nishizumi. Both look good, but again, simple sculpts. It's just the announcement for the right person that this will be exciting for, but it's just not really for me, unfortunately. Uzaki's younger sister is getting a cow print bikini figure. I don't even know if Uzaki, like herself, has a figure like this. I know her mom does, but I can't recall ever seeing her figure. But they're making one for her, so there you go. There is also another Idolmaster girl. This one's from Shiny Colors, a Higuchi Madoka figure. Got a really big bear plush. That's, I guess, a present. Not sure if she got it or if she's giving it to you. Either way, it's kind of cute. Cygames only had this figure, I believe, the Nagomi figure from Akiba Maid War. Now, I hear this series is actually really good, and I should watch it. I kind of like this idea, like the battle maid thing that's going on, and she looks a little angry and her face is cute. I like her hair, but, you know, I need the context of the show to know if I would actually buy something like this. But considering, like, all I've heard about this, it's nice to see some figures finally trickling out. Alright, Kai Tendo is a bit wild. Not really for this figure, it's a bust of Super Sonico. I think it looks okay. Unfortunately, the skin looks a bit too plasticky, and I don't really care too much about the whipped cream gimmick of it kind of sliding down her. Like, it's attractive, obviously, she's very busty and whatnot, but I feel like I've seen much better figures of Sonico to not really look at this ever again and be fine with that. However, they're also making this, which I know is such a controversial figure, the Toru swimsuit version from Kobayashi's Dragon Maid. Now, the elephant in the room, these tits are gigantic. I get it, I understand, it's kind of ridiculous, it's off model. Even in the manga, I'm pretty sure they're not this big. Do I care that much? No. It's kind of funny to see people get very mad about this, but I totally understand not wanting something that's just so different from what you're used to. I think it's a bit too much myself. However, there's a place for it if other people are at least making figures of Dragon Maid, right? I don't know, it's kind of like interesting, and I kind of like it in a weird artistic way, but it is just really off model to the point where, like, why did they go so hard? And funny enough, we have some Dragon Maid figures coming relatively soon. I'm not sure from which company, but they rival this one in terms of size and mass. So prepare yourselves for that if you haven't seen it. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm down for exaggerated proportions in artwork, but I feel like when you make it into a figure, it's gonna be really hard to get people to buy it, because when you want a figure, you usually want a representation of the thing that you're so fond of. So when you change it too much, it just starts to not look like the character anymore. So it's very valid to not like this because the boobs are so gigantic. But I'm tired of talking about this. Let's keep going. They're also making a Kana figure, apparently, which was not what I was talking about when I mentioned other figures from the series. I kind of forgot this was even a thing, actually. But this seems to have a bunch of optional parts, because the way this figure even works can change depending on like the type of water you use. This has a backpack and horns, whereas the other figure does not have horns or the backpack, and the face is a little different. So there is a bunch of like optional pieces that you can like mess around with if you do pick this up when it eventually goes up. But yeah, it's not even in the prototype phase, so let's jump to the next figure. 1/6 scale of Konata from the story of a manga artist confined by a strange high school girl. Kitty cat underwear with a face mask, kinda like it. However, the base is gigantic for no reason, so I do hope they slim that down whenever they decide to paint this thing. A lot of announcements from them. We have a Chris swimsuit version. We have Ikoma Murasaki from Grisaya. I don't remember that character. I did play the novel back in the day, the visual novel, but only the first part. I don't remember this character. Maybe she was in it though, but probably not. We have a Miku and Hibiki swimsuit version from Symphogear as well, so the series is getting a lot of figures. This is the one thing I want to see from the company, the D-Lit figure. No way it looks as good. No way at all it looks as good as this art piece, because this is gorgeous, but I do like this character, and while I haven't seen the anime, I love the new game she got, so I'd be down. I really would, but I just don't believe in it, so we'll see. Minato Tomaka from Roku Byu is getting a figure. I don't know if that's a new announcement. I know this one isn't. Shaltir, I remember talking about this one. Still not updated at all, just like the D-Lit figure, unfortunately for me. We also had Narmaya and Yumi from their respective series. I don't, again, remember if these are new announcements, though. Lechery is making a succubus nurse girl. I like that. I like that a lot, actually. I don't know if I could show this one. I'm going to blur it a little bit. Her areola are kind of peeking out. So I'll blur that. But, nice. She's salivating, bro. She is quite hungry. Star Extra Studio is making a 1/4 scale of Thea, a large butt succubus. I'm down. I'm really down. I like how her stockings are kind of ripped to almost look like stirrups, and then she's just sitting on like a demon of sorts and a suitcase. I don't really get it, but I like it. The art's great. I really like her face. I don't think I could actually commit to a 1/4 scale of a character I know nothing about, but I do want to see it because I really like it. But I think that's it on this page, so let's jump again. Ami and Amakuni are on this page. The first figure is Formidable from Azure Lane, the Lady of the Beach. Formidable in a bikini is already a really strong selling point, I'm sure, to many people. I gotta say, I really love her gigantic bun hair with braids, though. I think this is looking really good so far. I'm not exactly sure what this is, these like feathers that are behind her, but that doesn't matter right now. I'm sure that'll make more sense when it's painted. A lot of hair on this figure, though. I guess that's really the selling point of this figure. Her legs look great, but as far as the sculpt goes, there's a lot of attention to detail in all of these strands of hair, and I think so far it looks great. The pose is cute, too. I like how the arms are going under the boobs just to emphasize them a little bit more, even though they don't even need to, considering their size, but so far so good. I think the original image had seagulls. I would like to see a little seagull on this figure in the end, so make it happen. Honestly, I think a lot of these figures I've talked about before. I know I've talked about all those. I think I've talked about the club manager before. She looks excellent. I know I've talked about these two. I do want to see more of Yusei-chan. She is very hot. Then we also have this Yui figure, which is already out. And I think she's like 22,000 yen or something, which is ridiculous for a school uniform figure. Looks exactly like her, but like, my god, that price is horrible. Especially with like Good Small Company really trying to make affordable figures these days. I don't think this is a good look, but I understand if you're going to be compelled to buy this if you really like this character. I just think it's crazy though. Akiyama Rinko, a bit of a classic character, even if you've never played the game. Like myself, I'm sure you've seen her before in various images and whatnot. And I like this figure. Her shiny-ass suit looks phenomenal. I like how it's ripped right at the butt. Excellent. Perfect, even. Really, though, I like the colors on this one and the finishes. This, like, metallic blue right here might be my favorite part of the figure. I mean, after I'm done, you know, staring it down, of course. And her hair looks really great, the shading on top, and then the curve of the ponytail looks excellent. Really nice looking figure, gotta say, but it is Amakuni, so it makes sense. They're making a Rey figure, but I really don't like it so far. Her face looks a little bit creepy, and that's all I really gotta say about this one. There is also a Makoto School uniform version. I think this is the one we saw last time. It's really early in production though, so unfortunately, not much to go on here. But hey, it's cool. It's definitely cool. And the bike version did get a re-release, so I hope you picked that up if you missed out and you wanted it. Yang Guifei is definitely one of my most anticipated figures to see painted, but this is the exact same prototype from last time. I just didn't want to skip it because I love this piece, so just acknowledge that it's very pretty. Shigure Kai-san is getting a figure from Kantai Collection. That's kind of cool to see. I don't recall her getting a figure in a very long time. There's also an Uzaki Suki figure in like a little succubus outfit, very lewd. There's something about this artwork that I'm not loving. She looks very stumpy here. I think fan art has really ruined the original character design of her for me, and I'll leave it at that. But I like succubuses and vampires and demon girls, so that's a nice outfit, even though there's really not much outfit to begin with. This is one meaty elf. This is a character design by Oekaki Zuki, who I like a lot. Did not see this one coming. Very bold of Amakuni to make such a horny figure. But they gotta one-up themselves. It makes sense. This is gonna look ridiculous when it's done in the best ways. Can't wait. Next page and next company goes to Rebos. The first figure is Type 97 Shotgun Drunken Pedals Underfoot version. What a name. Now, the dress looks great, especially like these things around her arms right here. But I gotta say, the champagne or whatever that's coming out of the glass looks so bad right now. Like, this just looks like a string that's heading into the vase. Looks really undercooked. I bet it'll look fine when it's done, but right now, I feel like they shouldn't have even, like, put this in the prototype, because it looks really, like, I don't know, half-baked. I don't like it. At least she looks really good, though, and her dress is very sexy, so most of it's fine. I just don't like this. 1/7 scale figure Dragon Princess from Dragon King's Daughters Chinese Fantasy Selection. I need to see this, like, I need to see what this originally looks like. Well, I found it on Amazon of all places, so that's neat. I gotta say, I really like this character design. It's so over the top. Her ears are so big, I love it. And then these like earrings are massive as well. Look at her nails, they're so long. Definitely worried about that on the sculpt. Let's go back to the sculpt. So if they manage to capture that art style in this figure, I'm gonna really like this. I also really like the clouds. I wish they went for like a semi-transparency instead of like completely transparent. I think these might underwhelm me when they're done, knowing like how I complain about transparencies all the time, but I like the artistic style of them. I think they're neat, and so is she. In fact, I'm gonna try and find some more pictures of her. So this would be the point where I like jump cut to something else and show it off, but unfortunately I can't find anything else because it's a Chinese figure, I think, and MFC hates Chinese figures, and I can't even search it up. So right now, this is all I got, but I do like it. In fact, I kind of love it. It's always the weirdest things that get me excited the most, but I guess I just like the element of surprise and seeing something that I'm not expecting. So just this weird dragon princess girl, I think, has an amazing sculpt and a really unique design to her that I just want to highlight a little bit. Oh, here we go. We found another dragon-made figure, this time of a Lulu. And I like it. I actually like this one. I can't help it. I think it's kind of neat. The fact that she's like suspending herself in the air with her tail. She's got the tattered cloak, which I like a lot. She's literally groping herself, which is kind of fun. I like a Lulu. I know some people don't. I really don't want to get into that, but I'll just say the series is full of like degeneracy and just pointing out one character being a little degenerate. Not a little, but you know what I'm saying. I feel like that's not fair, you know? But it is what it is. I like this one a lot more than the one with the teddy bears. I feel like that one made me a little uncomfortable, whereas this one is in character, and it's a bit more of her like demonic side, I guess, where she's in her dragon form and whatnot, instead of being like completely cutesy. So I like it. She even gets the little doll that she's holding onto with her tail. That is very cute. But we still got one more to find, at the very least in this gallery, and I can't wait. Arc Knights Rise Up Weedy Celebration Time version. I think these are the really cheap figures that they make sometimes for Arc Knights. I'm not sure if that's the case, but I think it is. They're like 40 bucks or something if I'm right. And it looks good so far, but I don't know how they turn out. So I can't say for sure if this is exciting or not, but I know one of the figures is definitely out. So if this is a part of that series, you can go look into that and find out for yourself. Tea time cats are really cute. I like when these pop up on Ami Ami. Now this is the cow cat. I don't understand why. I don't see anything about this that screams cow. Might have something to do with the colors. However, I don't know. I do know that these will be likely very cheap, at least relatively so to everything else that you're likely buying. But it's a cute little cat girl in a cute little tea kettle. What's not to like? This one's really cute too, the dessert planet Jupiter. Is it supposed to be the dessert planet? I mean, there's nothing really dessert about it. The top kinda looks like the top of like a pie, maybe. This kinda looks like a Reese's cup. I'm kinda stretching here, I don't really know. I do like the pumpkin stack though, and they all have different faces, and she is adorable. Not really sure what she's doing with her hands, but I guess it doesn't matter right now. It's kind of like a Halloween figure, so I don't know why it's called this, but I like it, so it's fine. I did double check, and the Rise Up series is the budget line of figures from Rebos, so the PA-15 Dance in the Icy version will be cheap and a little bit smaller than like your typical scale figure, but it's a nice ballerina design, so cool. Mizuno Senpai to Natsu no Tokun. That's a winner. That's an absolute winner. That's gotta be a winner. You can't tell me it's not a winner. Lemoe figure. Have we seen this one painted? I feel like we might have, but I just can't remember. I do like this design a lot. I like the colors of it. It's very edgy. She's literally got like blood pouches attached to her. The cane with the skull on it. I know I've seen better photos of this figure. I just can't find them right now, unfortunately. Very like gothic, very dark. Maybe she's like a vampire or a succubus girl or something, but there's definitely a bit of edge to this figure, which is pretty cute with the rest of this design, honestly. Like, it doesn't really look like she should be sucking blood, but she certainly is. Not really too much from the company, unfortunately. We have Luana and Liana. They are barely done. This figure looks really good. Oh my god, I love her fangs. Hold on, I think I gotta find a photo of her really quickly. So I like everything about this character design except for the hair color, and it ruins it for me, and I hate that I have to say that, but I just really don't like the mix of black and white here. I wish it was anything else, just choose one color over the other, but it is what it is, just not a figure for me. Foot tax though, that's gonna be real expensive, I'm sure. But I really do like this sculpt so far, just unfortunate about the colors for me. Also, here's Rosalia. I know I've talked about her in the past. I remember this sculpt specifically, but it's a really nice design, and I didn't want to skip it in case somebody wanted to see a better photo of it. I don't recall ever seeing this figure before from Omaha, and I really like it. Unfortunately, you really don't get much from the prototype, especially because her face is blank, but the artwork in the second image, which is for the bunny, and it's a nice bunny, don't get me wrong. Not that interesting, but I do like how she's pulling on her ears in embarrassment. Very cute, I gotta say, but I'm really more interested in the streetwear girl. I like her face a lot. That smile is really cute. I like this coloring of the outfit, the jacket that she's wearing. Even the like bandages on her knees are colored the same as the outfit, like the jacket. That's really sick. I wanna see more of this one. It's a nice surprise, I gotta say. And last up on this page is Magic Asteroids Made Cat Noah. Now, I'm not really like that impressed with this figure, unfortunately. It is a 1/6 scale, so it's kind of big, and most of it's fine, but when we look at the original artwork, her face is really cute, but I don't feel like it's coming across at all on this figure. It's a bit of a far cry from that original illustration. She looks a little derpy, and I hope it improves over time, but right now, it's really killing my interest in this figure. I almost forgot to talk about hobby stock, and that would have been really bad because we have to talk about this next figure. It's the first one in the gallery, actually, the Hatsune Miku Digital Stars 2022 version. I'm kind of at a loss for words. This has got to be the best thing we've seen today so far. It just looks breathtaking. This is an insane sculpt. We've seen the sculpt before, but now it's painted, and it looks even better, of course. Now, I don't think this image is really doing the figure justice outside of the base, which does give us a pretty good idea of how big this figure is. And it kind of reminds me of the Kurisu figure that's coming up, the Reading Steiner version, I believe. You know the one, with all the computers behind it and whatnot. I'm only really getting that impression because of the wires that are sticking into the amp and whatnot, and they're kind of just like all over the base. It's very cool. I like the colors of it. The gold and the purple look sick, but I did find some additional photos that gives us a much better look at Miku herself. Like, I'm pretty sure this is a bit, like, oversaturated. I doubt the colors are gonna look this nice on the finished product, but my god, is this not beautiful. And there's a lot of details on this figure, too. Her shoes have horns. Like, you might have noticed she has little devil horns up here and some spikes on her headphones, but, like, little horns on the shoes. That's awesome. Her socks are ripped up. She's wearing spats. The inner lining of the jacket looks amazing. The skirt is a completely different color. There's so much bright, like, pink and magenta all over this sculpt. Her hair is nuts. It looks really good as well, but I just love the spiky curvature of it, I suppose. You do get a much better idea of, like, the entire thing in this one image here. It almost looks like flames going off in their own path, and I think that's kind of helped with the headpieces that she's wearing. I don't know, they just remind me of flames a little bit. There's also the flag or the banner, whatever it's supposed to be, that's in a pretty similar shape. It does kind of remind me of flames as well, so I'm going to stick with that. Definitely fits the punk vibe of this figure. This is just so cool. It is such a rad interpretation of Miku, right? And I doubt this will be affordable by any stretch of the imagination, but I'm in awe. I think this has got to be one of the best figures at Wonfes, and I'm glad they finally painted it. Now we just got to learn the price. Outside of that masterpiece, though, which is going to be impossible to follow up, we had a Symphogear figure of Tsukuyomi Shirabe, and I like the curvature. I like the emphasis on how small and slender she is. I gotta say, I don't like how her outfit is painted, a little bit too flat for me. I think the shoes, or the skates rather, look a bit better, and I like the design of the base, and I guess I like her socks slash stockings slash whatever, but I don't know, I can definitely excuse this because I just find her pose really interesting, somewhat attractive, somewhat unique. I like it. There's a Mikon figure. She's wearing an oversized shirt. It looks cute. She does not have her pineapple, unfortunately, because her hair is down. That's it. That's the figure. It's a 1/6 scale. Looks fine. I like to love her, but there's really nothing else about this figure I need to talk about. We had a Rin figure from Yuru Camp, a 1/7 scale. Looks a little odd to me, which I don't think I've ever said about a Rin figure. I don't know if it's like the lack of neck or the tiny hand, but there's just something about this face that I'm not really liking. But I've always liked seeing her in this outfit. Like, I like how comfy it looks. So I do hope this one improves. I'm just not really the biggest fan of it right now. 1/4 scale Himuragi Yukina black lingerie and white lingerie. So they're making two different versions of this. I don't really think it's that interesting to really warrant two versions of, but what do I know? There's a 3D prototype of the Ichinose Honami competition swimsuit version. Nice tush. But that's all you're getting from me. It's a 3D model. More 1/4 scales of Yui and Yukino, both in their black tights. That is emphasized, so if you like their legs and their feet and their panties, there you go. They're also making a 1/4 scale black tights version for Ishiki Roha as well. So this is basically a line at this point. Big figures that emphasize the tights. I think a lot of people can get behind that. I think it's a good idea. Can't wait to see it. There is a 1/6 scale of Yui in a swimsuit. I think there's also one for Yukino as well. This is a very pretty swimsuit, and I like her hats. Next up is an Asuna figure, the nightwear version. Kind of boring concept art, but we'll see the figure in the future. There is a Tokusaki Kurumi figure. That is the only information we have on this one. And I think there's 1 million figures of her, so that is not interesting. Next up is Elegant. I'm not very familiar with them, though this prototype looks extremely cute. This is the Shirasu Azusa swimsuit version from Blue Archive, which is probably why I'm not familiar with this character at all. But god damn it, is this not adorable, and a really good sculpt so far. Now, I definitely like more involved swimsuit figures. I think when you just prop up the character in their bikini, it's fine, sometimes sexy, but it's not really that interesting. I really do lean towards things that have more going on, I suppose, and this is certainly that. Now she has wings, and there are ribbons on the wings. She has like 4 to 5 suitcases or something like that. No idea where she's going, but I guess she is prepared. She's got a little bag and a cute little charm. I like her sandals, very cute. And her face looks really great too. There's a lot of hair on this figure. It's kind of draping down onto the suitcase. Maybe not like in the best way where they're really trying to make it look realistic, but it's still a really nice hair sculpt. And her like kind of frilly swimsuit is really nice as well. Now, I went out of my way to find the, I guess, key art of this girl, and these are some really good looking colors. And you also get to see how much more like chaotic this figure is going to end up. There's just a lot going on in this image. There's so many different like accessories, stickers all over the suitcases. Her bag is filled with stuff. The charm is a lot goofier than I thought at first. I really like it actually. Her hair has all these colorful ribbons and flowers on it, and you even get to see the scowl on her face a bit better. And I gotta say, I like that expression. It is really cute. I love the colors of this piece. I think this is one to look out for. Do I really want to start collecting Blue Archive? I don't know, but I gotta say I like this prototype a lot so far. Might be one of my favorites today. Also from Blue Archive is the Kasumizawa Miyu. And this figure's a bit of a mess, like literally. I think there is a lot of weird things going on in this figure. I think everything is going wrong for this girl. I'm not even really sure what she's in. It kind of looks like a garbage can, actually. Her shoes are coming off. There is a ferret coming out of the garbage. There's like leaves all over her. It's kind of funny, actually. I am going to find images of her. Hold on. So this is not like the official art, but it does kind of tell us that, yes, she is really actually in a garbage can, I guess trying to hide from her enemy with her freaking sniper rifle. And things are not going well for her. She is very clumsy. It's a really cute concept. I also found this image, so I guess she just always looks like this. She's just always making a mess. I gotta say, that's really endearing. I kind of like this design a lot. I don't really like her face right now, though. I feel like I really like this image right here. Her face looks really cute right here, and I hope it kind of comes through a little bit better on this figure. I'm sure when we get to see her eyebrows a little bit more, we get a better sense of her expression, I'll start to like it more. But right now, it's definitely a fun idea, but I'm not completely sold. And then just to wrap it up with a couple extra announcements from Elegant, there is the Breast Marine Muse version from Azure Lane. There is an announcement for a Kashino Maid for Mayhem version, a cowgirl maid. I like that. She actually has like hooves and a tail. Actually part cow, I guess. That's kind of fun. And then finally, we have the Shimakaze, the Island Wind Rest version. Now, this is another figure that I think if they commit to all the stuff in the background, we got ourselves a winner. I like this version of Shimakaze. I'm definitely more familiar with the Kankole version. I actually used to have a figure of her, but I did sell it because I never played that game either. So, you know, I'm kind of a poser in that regard. But this is a cute one for sure. Hold on, I was just trying to like get it a little bit higher resolution if possible. I really like these sand sculptures. I hope these are part of the figure, if nothing else. I'm sure you'll get the umbrella and the buckets, but I don't know if they want to commit this hard. She looks really cute though. The swimsuit's cute. Nothing too crazy, of course, but it is a nice figure. Not too sexual. I think she has some under boob though, so that might bother you a little bit. I do like her pickle eyebrows though. The red pickle eyebrows on top of the hair. I love it. But anyway, I think that's it. I think I'm going to stop here for today because I already know that this video is extremely long. I actually recorded more of this, went back to do hobby stock, and now I'm going to put this out for the first part of this video. We're doing a two-parter now, technically a three-parter if you count one hobby. Apologize, didn't really plan for that, but I know for a fact this is a lot of content, and it's just easier for me to do it this way. Definitely moving forward, I'm going to think about how I structure these videos, but hopefully you enjoyed this one. Thanks for sticking around, and subscribe if you want to be notified for part 3, and until then, I'll see you later. Bye.